Boss, get ready. With a vigorous shout, which in no way seems appropriate for seduction, Suzuha whips off her jacket and... Excuse me? What? How's it going, everybody? HoodlaMutt back with some more Steins Gate. And, I don't really want to talk about last time. I don't want to talk about it. There was some peeping Tom going on. Unnecessary. Okabe is just the dumbest human being that's ever existed. But also, we now have found out, or at least we have made it very certain that Keiretsu is in fact an @channeler, and therefore an extreme otaku, and we told her that we'd keep it under wraps, but that's probably not going to last very long. So, yeah. So, now we're trying to get permission to use the phone wave from Mr. Braun, so that's going to go swimmingly, I'm sure. So, let's just see what happens in this episode. When I step into the store, Mr. Braun, Suzuha, and the Chipmunk are watching some comedy show on the massive 42-inch CRT. Watching TV at noon without a customer in sight. Looks like business as usual at the Braun Tube Workshop. Sup, Okabe Rentaro? I raise my hand in response to Suzuha's greeting. The Chipmunk, nay, quickly hides behind her father when she sees me. I see you're busy as ever. Yeah, just prod the bowl before you ask for permission for something that he said he'd raise your rent on. Yeah, go ahead. Okabe, buy a CRT. No thanks. I'm not some kind of retro TV otaku. I'd rather buy an LCD. I look around the store as I answer. Huh. I just thought of something. Like CERN's Large Hadron Collider, the phone wave name subject to change must have some kind of electron feed to keep the black hole open. CERN calls this feed the lifter. We still haven't figured out what that is, nor what could be acting as a substitute lifter in our time machine. What if our lifter is somewhere in this shop? Oh, so like not in the microwave. I guess that's a possibility? I guess I just would have... Huh. That's actually a... See, this is smart. This is smart thinking that it could be something that isn't... Because there's a lot of tech in here, but it's old, right? So, I don't know. It's a good idea, though. I didn't even think about that. Whatever it is must be in close proximity to the phone wave name subject to change. It couldn't work otherwise. And the Braun Tube Workshop is located directly below the lab. Could our lifter be a CRT? You've been having a lot of girls over lately, haven't you? Just the usual members. I was over the other day. Invite me next time, huh? I want to talk to some young girls for a change. Alright. You know, let's not get weird, dude. Excuse me? Oh, never mind. I thought I thought we were calling him daddy. I was like, excuse me? That freaked me out for a sec. I was like, what the heck? Alright, hold on. Faris. Okay, Kamama. I was forcing myself to be cheerful for that last phone call, Nya. I actually feel like I could die, Nya. Aw. Alright.
Daddy, that's dirty.
Yeah, you're not wrong, kid. No, it isn't. It's, marketing. Yeah, I'm looking for new customers. Check out this scary-looking guy trying to desperately to explain himself to his daughter. Hilarious.
What do you mean for a change? You talk to me every day.
You're not young. Whoa! Alright. Who is that an insult to at this point? I don't know. Suzuha's the same age as Daru and I, which makes her older than Mayuri or Kiritsu. Oh yeah, she is. I think she mentioned that. So she's 19 then. Okay, interesting.
Did you say something, Okabe Rentaro?
Only the truth. Nay, your father is happy as long as he has you. Okay?
Yup, I know. But don't say dirty things anymore, okay?
Freaking tell him. It's a promise. Then he joins Pinkies with his daughter. Dang, Mr. Braun. You're way off character. How does a guy like him produce a daughter like that? Nei is one of the kindest, gentlest girls I've ever met. I don't know why she's so afraid of me, though. Anyway, I came here to explain that the building's about to shake. How do I avoid having my head ripped off? How many more earthquakes do you think this building can handle? No, that's way too obvious. An earthquake is coming! My magic eye, reading Steiner, has seen it in the future. Escape while you still can! Yeah, that might work.
Hey, did Shina Mayuri stay over yesterday?
Yeah.
So, Makase Kiritsu stayed too?
Yeah, they're both upstairs.
Oh.
Suzuha's hostility towards Kiritsu hasn't abated. And how are you doing? Huh? Are you feeling better?
Oh. Yeah, I guess. The search continues.
Huh? What's this about, part-timer?
I'm searching for my dad. I told you before, remember?
Oh, right. Go find your old man, Okabe. Why does he think he can boss me around? Huh. Naturally. Suzuha's a fellow lab member. Leave it to us. Suzuha looks at me with a smile that shines through the gloom filling the store. Dude, that's cute. Dude, she just wanted friends because she's probably from a dystopia in the future and has no one, and that just she's growing on me, dude. Like she went from kind of like, I'm indifferent, whatever. She's kind of fun to like, I'm really liking her. I think she's fun now. Very wholesome.
Okabe Rentaro, we're the same age, but sometimes you seem a lot older. You really know how to give people strength.
Aw. That's the first time anyone said that to me. It makes me kind of happy. Of course. I am the great Hawawun Kyoma. The chipmunk cowers in terror as I unveil my madness. I can see tears pooling in her eyes. I guess my aura is just too powerful for a grade school girl to endure. Okabe, next time you scare Nei, I'll kill ya. Sorry.
Come here a sec.
What? Oh crap, okay. Scary music again? Suzuha takes my arm and leads me away from the Tenojis, who have gone back to watching TV.
I just want to say, be circumspect in your dealings with Makase Kiritsu.
Okay. What? Circumspect? Why can't she just say careful like a normal person? Not that I'm one to talk. This again? Aren't you just being paranoid? Suzuha shakes her head firmly.
No. Her perniciousness has been proven.
Perniciousness? Is she saying Kiritsu is dangerous? There's something strange about the way Suzuha is talking, and it's not just her fondness for uncommon words. There's something else. Something...
Her genius is a threat. At heart, she only cares about her experiments.
Oh! So assuming I'm right and she is from the future and Kiritsu is there in the future with her and she's whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. Like, does she become us? Like, is Kiritsu actually a mad scientist? Where we're just pretending to be one? Shoot. Suzuha's eyes are hard, and her voice is as cold as ice. I can tell that she means every word she says.
Listen to me. She's using you all. Makase Kiritsu is connected to CERN.
What? Is that true? What? How do we know you're not connected to CERN? Like, how do we know you're not lying to us right now? Trying to get closer to us. I mean, okay, I'm gonna be honest. I do trust her more than Kiritsu for some reason. I shouldn't. But the game is wanting me to trust her, but there's something in me that just does. And I could get totally bamboozled, like, later on. I just feel it. I don't know. However, she could be just trying to bamboozle us by being all nice and being like, oh, hey, we're friends, and oh, thanks for making me my friend, you know, just so that I'll like her, just so that she can ultimately betray us. That is possible. Now it's making me wonder who killed Kiritsu when we saw in the very beginning. Someone killed her. Either it was us or it was Suzuha. Like, someone killed her. I don't know. Or maybe she killed herself. I don't know. It's too early to tell. I don't know. This is crazy. But if she is connected to CERN, like, what the heck, dude? It kind of would make sense because she has a bunch. She's a neuroscientist, so she has, like, people that are scientists that would be like colleagues or maybe even friends. So I could see it. What? No. That's impossible. CERN is our enemy. If Daru's hacking is discovered, I have no doubt they will do everything in their power to destroy us. How can Kiritsu be connected to CERN? You're saying she's a spy? Suzuha nods firmly.
The credit for inventing the time machine was hers.
Huh? Again, Suzuha's words sound strange to my ears, but I still can't place my finger on why. It's because she's talking in a post tense. She's talking as someone who has seen this happen before. Oh no. Oh, I do. I just trust her. I think because she's from the future, I just trust her. I don't know. Dude.
Don't let your guard down.
I don't believe it. I saw Kiritsu's anger when she learned what CERN had been doing. She called their actions a betrayal of scientists everywhere. How can someone with such a pure love of science be connected to CERN? But if what Suzuha says is true... Holy crap. Could she be the one who sent that threatening email? I suspected Moeka, but so did I. Yeah. Okay, but this is like Mystery 101. They always try to lead you. They try to lead you to a particular conclusion to make you jump to conclusions so that they can have a twist later. So this is what makes me not sure that it actually is Kiritsu. Okay. Even though I like Suzuha, I'm going to call it right now that actually Suzuha is against us and is actually the one that's maybe working for CERN. And is trying to get us to work against Kiritsu. I mean, I could be wrong. I actually do really like Suzuha, but just for the sake of what I understand to be true in mystery, like mystery stories, I'm going to take that route. I'm not going to like it, but I'm going to take that as my guess. So that's what I'm sticking with for now. Holy crap!
Gah!
Suddenly, the ground starts to shake. Kiritsu started the experiment? But I haven't talked to Mr. Braun yet. Dang, it's too soon. Okabe! Sure enough, veins on Mr. Braun's forehead swell in response to the shaking. How many times do I have to tell you not to shake the building? Cute girls or no, I ain't letting you off. Your rent's going up. Wait, Mr. Braun. This isn't our doing. It's an earthquake. My magic eye, reading Steiner, predicted this would happen. An earthquake? You think I'll fall for that? The shaking gets more intense, knocking over a CRT. Oh, that's not good. Braun Tube-chan! No! Crap. I can't talk my way out of this one. Okabe, you jerk! Mr. Braun clearly wants to snap my neck like a twig, but he elects to protect his greatest treasure, the 42-inch CRT, instead. He grabs the remote and switches it off, then grabs hold of the TV and hangs on for dear life.
Is it over?
Looks like it. Wait, it's over? I carefully step through the rubble and take the remote from the dazed Mr. Braun's hand. I press the red power button. It's the 42-inch CRT! Nothing happened. Reading Steiner didn't actually kick off because they didn't have the lifter. How much you want to bet? The 42-inch CRT instantly comes to life. I stare at the image on the screen and smile.
What's wrong?
I've done it! I've done it! This is the lifter! It's so obvious! Why didn't I see it before? Of course, this must be the work of Steins Gate. It chose this moment for a reason. What the heck are you laughing about, Okabe? You're scaring my daughter. I'm raising your rent, you hear? And you're paying for that CRT. A little silence, please, Mr. Braun. This is a most glorious moment, for I have just been chosen as the ruler of all space and time. Stars explode behind my eyes as Mr. Braun drives his fist into the top of my head. The world spins. I struggle to get a hold of my shaken brain. You dare lay hands on the great... Got something to say? Well then, Mr. Braun, put it on my tab. With that, I fly out of the workshop. I rub my head. It hurts like heck. Dang that Mr. Braun. Did he really have to crack me so hard? Maybe I should report him for assault. Thanks to his brutality, I had to make a strategic retreat. Fortunately, I did not emerge empty-handed. The extra 10,000 yen a month will hurt, but in exchange, I have acquired information essential to the success of my plan. All's well that ends well.
Oh, Karin, the building just shook. Are you okay?
Mayuri and Kiritsu appear in the second story window.
Looks like you really are unkillable.
I have seen the future, Christina. In 3 minutes, you will be on your knees praising my greatness.
I don't think so.
I run up the stairs.
How could you miss something so obvious?
When I tell Kiritsu about the 42-inch CRT downstairs, that is her first reaction. Why are you blaming me?
I'm not blaming you. I'm just disappointed that nobody, including myself, noticed.
We missed the forest for the trees. I never did understand that saying. It always seems so weird. I don't like it's. I've even heard people explain it, and it still doesn't make sense to me. To summarize, just now, when the phone wave named Subject to Change shook the building, the 42-inch CRT was on. But when Mr. Braun turned the TV off, the shaking stopped immediately.
The discharge was interrupted. I put a banana in just to be sure. Nothing happened. I'm glad. We shouldn't waste food.
Nobody replies to Mayuri's off-point statement. We're busy reading about cathode ray tubes on the internet. It doesn't take long before we find something interesting. A cathode ray tube has a component called an electron gun, which uses extreme heat and a strong electric field to accelerate electrons and turn them into a beam. The electron beams striking the TV screen, phosphor layer, is what generates the picture. An electron gun could certainly work as a lifter.
We found the answer. The electrons emitted by the 42-inch CRT are holding the phone wave's black hole open. And the discharge phenomenon is the result.
So the reason we can't use the phone wave at night is because the Braun Tube workshop's closed? Oh, yeah! That would make sense why we can only use it at certain times. Yo, that makes so much sense now. That's so cool. The Braun Tube workshop doesn't have especially strict business hours, but it's usually open from around 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. That matches up perfectly with my observation that the phone wave named Subject to Change only works between noon and 6 p.m. I was wondering why there was a time frame. I'm like, what the heck could be making that happen? That totally makes sense. The few instances it hasn't worked during that time frame can be explained by the TV being off. But how can a cathode ray tube emit such a strong electron stream?
It's not about having a strong electron stream. If stronger were better, CERN would have solved the lifter problem long ago.
I see. So it can't be too strong or too weak. By freak coincidence, the 42-inch CRT's electron gun appears to have exactly the right level of electron discharge. That's the only explanation.
Somehow, the conditions here were perfect to create a time machine. Frankly, it's a miracle.
No, Christina! Not a miracle.
This is the choice of Steins Gate.
Rather than glare at me, as she has so many times in the past, Kiritsu shoots me an exasperated smile. Whatever it is, it worked. Mayuri looks up from her costume with a question in her eyes.
So, what do we have to do to complete Super Phone Wave-chan?
Now that we found the cause, there's nothing left to hold us back. We can safely conclude that time leaping is possible when and only when the television is on.
We should probably test it, right? And there's still the final check of the phone wave to do.
You're right, Okabe.
What?
Go downstairs and turn that TV back on.
Ha ha ha. That's hilarious, Christina. Allow me to dub that. Mission impossible. I'm not going back down there. My head still hurts from last time. Next time, I doubt I'll make it out alive.
Whatever, just go already. Kiritsu orders me with a sour look. It's like I'm the assistant here. If anyone can do it, it's you. You made an amazing discovery just now, didn't you?
Assistant mine. Have you finally recognized my greatness as a mad scientist?
No.
Ah. Dang. That was harsh.
Oh, whoops. I was supposed to flatter him so he'd feel like going, right? Yes, you're an amazing mad scientist.
It's too late!
Anyway, now that we found the lifter, the time leap machine is 99% complete. Kiritsu's expression suddenly turns serious, but I can see the hunger in her eyes and the flush of excitement on her cheeks. She knows that we stand on the threshold of a new age in science, and she cannot resist the lure of the unknown. She's a true scientist, no doubt about it. It's your dream, isn't it? To invent a time machine?
Our dream. See, she's getting more hype about this, right? Like, it makes what Suzuha is thinking, or what she's been telling us, seem more legit. You know what I mean? It's like, because she started out being like, no, there's no way this could ever happen. And then when we started proving that stuff could happen, now she's suddenly so into it. She's so on board. And what's even weirder, though, is she's become more on board the more times we have changed world lines. So I wonder if that has something to do with the fact of why she is the way she is. Like, maybe we turn her into a mad scientist by changing the world line ever so slightly? I don't know. I've never really thought about it that way. But she's right. My hands are shaking. Not from fear of Mr. Braun, but from excitement. I will become the undisputed Lord of Time. With that power, I will shatter the system and chaos will rule the...
Okabe. Kiritsu interrupts my speech. I wasn't asking Haowen Kyoma. I was asking Okabe. She spears me with her gaze. I meet it head on. After a few moments, I feel my mouth curve into a smile. I'll do it. Leave it to me. With that, I head downstairs. A cracked skull and an empty wallet are a small price to pay for science. Kiritsu and Daru send me off with applause for some reason. Mayuri's the only one who looks worried, but I pat her head in reassurance. Aw, she's worried. I love it. She's the one that's the best, dude. We need to protect her at all costs, I'm telling you.
Alright, round 2. When I get downstairs, Suzuha and the chipmunk are sitting side by side on the bench outside.
Sup?
Nei gives me a quick bow, then hides behind Suzuha.
That shaking upstairs put the boss in a bad mood. Nei and I are waiting it out.
Dang. Now I really don't want to go in there.
Are you okay? Dad hit you pretty hard.
I'll have you know that my brain is more valuable than the Mona Lisa. Your father may have sent humanity back 100 years by wiping out my brain cells.
Such a regrettable loss.
Suzuha clasps her hands in solemn prayer. I'm not dead. Just my brain cells. He admits that he's dumb. Alright, great.
I'm sorry. Daddy did something bad.
Chipmunk, what a gentle heart you have. I can't believe she's Mr. Braun's daughter. I suppose I'll share some of the blame. Your father and I are even. Nei smiles slightly at my words of comfort. Now then, part-time warrior, I have a request of you. I need you to distract Mr. Braun for about 5 seconds. Suzuha's eyes start to shine.
You mean seduce him?
She flexes her bicep for some reason.
Go on, touch it.
She insists, so I poke it. It's just as hard as her confidence suggests. She's probably stronger than me. Because she's from the future, she has to get, like, fit to survive, you know? But I don't understand what flexing has to do with seduction. Nobody said anything about seduction. It doesn't matter how you do it. Hold on. Let's just take a look here. Lukako. About Mayuri-chan. You and Mayuri-chan don't go places together. You're both lab members, and I heard you were childhood friends, so I thought, I'm sorry if I misunderstood. P.S. I did 30 practice swings with Samadare. Hey, getting 30 practice swings in? Let's go. Also, you thought, oh, that was from the last message that she sent, right? Yeah. So she thought that we were a thing. That's funny. Nah, she's just the best, and we just know that. Alright, cool.
I'm not much of a warrior if I can't handle that. Besides, you said you'd help me search for my father, right? I'm only returning the favor.
I see. Then I leave it in your capable hands.
Okie dokie. Suzuha, don't be mean to Daddy, okay? Aw. Don't worry, I won't be mean.
Indeed. I want to complain that he's the one being mean, but I just said that we were even, so I refrain.
Wait here, Nei.
The chipmunk nods. When we enter the store, we find Mr. Braun cleaning up the pieces of the broken CRT. When our eyes meet, another vein pops out on his forehead. If you came to apologize, I'll listen. But your rent's going up, understand? I'm sorry about what happened. I overreacted. As a token of apology, my lab's representative, Amane Suzuha, would like to present you with a gift.
Boss, get ready.
With a vigorous shout, which in no way seems appropriate for seduction, Suzuha whips off her jacket and... Excuse me? What?
Yeah!
throws it into Mr. Braun's face. Whoa! I can see her bra. No, wait. That's not a bra, but a tight tank top that leaves her midriff bare. Yet Suzuha shows no sign of embarrassment as she rushes Mr. Braun. Whoa! She slips behind him, grabs her coat, and pulls it tight against his face. That's not a distraction. That is like straight up like sabotage. What the heck?
Okabe Rentaro, now's your chance.
Now wait just a second. Is this your idea of seduction? It looks like you're trying to suffocate him.
Hurry!
Mr. Braun flails his arms, trying to escape Suzuha's restraint. There's a huge difference in strength between the two. It's only a matter of time before he shakes Suzuha off. Well done, warrior. Your heroism will be remembered. Realizing that the only choice is to go for it, I dash to the counter, grab the remote, and switch on the 42-inch CRT. After about 2 seconds, an image appears on the giant screen. At the same time, the ceiling starts to shake. Kyoritsu activated the phone wave, named subject to change, with perfect timing.
It's shaking again, Okabe Rentaro. What's going on?
Did she really take off her clothes without knowing why? You're a lifesaver, part-time warrior. If you can, keep him restrained for 10 more seconds. During that time, I escape from the store. Outside, Nei's following earthquake drill procedure, crouching while protecting her head. I ignore that and look up to the second floor. At exactly the same time, Kyoritsu appears in the window and gives me a happy thumbs up. But a second later, she blushes, shoots me a glare, and disappears inside as if nothing happened. What's with her attitude? I'm risking my life here! She got embarrassed, what the heck? In any case, the experiment was a success. The 42-inch CRT was the key, as I suspected. Now, how do I explain this to Mr. Braun? I don't want him to kick us out of the building. Perhaps I shouldn't have left it to Suzuha. Who would have thought she would have gone all ninja on him? What the heck? I timidly peek into the store to gauge the situation.
Come on, boss. Give me back my jacket.
Suzuha is there, fidgeting in her tank top as Mr. Braun glares down at her. Shut up! I'm confiscating this.
You pervert.
You're the pervert throwing your shirt in my face like some kind of dancer. That was pretty kinky. Gotta remember to thank Okabe after I kill him.
Kinky? Don't say things like that. It's gross.
Anyway, you can work like that for the rest of the day. Go stand out front and use that flat tummy of yours to attract customers.
I'll tell Nei on you.
Ha! Who's she gonna believe? You or her old man?
Dang.
No problems here. Oh, you're so dumb. Suzuha's seduction strategy worked. I guess. Mr. Braun, what a guy. Yeah, that's a word. A little while later, I'm lying on the sofa watching high school baseball. Kumamoto and Aichi are locked in a fierce struggle for the playoffs. Just then, the clack, clack of the sewing machine in the lounge suddenly stops.
Oh, Karin? Can you come here?
She motions to me while holding the costume. What does she want? I walk over to her.
Can you hold this for me? Spread it out like flop.
Mayushi, say flop again.
Flop.
Dude, are you kidding me? Are you freaking serious? I got a flop.
Stop it already, perv.
Like, how? There was no... Whatever. I follow Mayuri's directions and spread the costume out by the sleeves. She inspects it from a few paces away. It's hard to believe, given her usual ditziness, but Mayuri is very serious about her art. That's why cosplayers value her costume so highly. The costume I'm holding now is custom made for Lukaku. I thought Lukaku was against it, but I guess Mayuri managed to persuade her.
Okay, thanks.
Mayuri looks tired. She's been working all night. But that doesn't dim the brightness of her satisfied smile.
Finished.
It's done?
Yup. I finished before Chris-chan. We were racing.
You win, Mayuri. Congratulations. Dang you, assistant. She treats me and Daru like garbage, but Mayuri gets the sisterly touch. Actually, I'm just about finished too. Kiritsu connects the two cords she's holding. Done. Celebration is in order. But nobody cheers.
It's a tie.
Man, I'm tired. I want Faristan to comfort me. Honestly, I don't feel like cheering either. And it's not because I'm tired. We worked around the clock for 3 straight days to finish the time leap machine. But now that it is complete, I realize that part of me never truly believed it would happen. I feel my enthusiasm cooling rapidly, the fire quenched by one stark question. What do we do with it? I look at Kiritsu. She, too, seems less than enthused. We may have created a monster here. I look at the improved phone wave name subject to change again. The biggest change is the headgear attached to the X68000. It looks like something out of a low-budget cyberpunk movie. Fortunately, we don't need nerve jacks or brain chips for it to work. You just put it on and let the sensors do the rest. Why don't we decide what to call it first? Oh, are we actually going to name the phone wave? I vote Heavenly Express. Phone Wave 3rd Edition version 1.00.
Silly hat phone wave-chan.
No consensus. You guys have too much free time. Does that mean you're abstaining from the vote? Time leap machine. That's terrible. Come on! Simple is best, right? I mean, that's what Okabe's been calling it for the past 2 days. Looks like my assistant has zero naming sense. I don't want to hear that from a Chinibyo headcase like you. Oh ho! So Makase-shi knows the word Chinibyo? I sense your otaku level is quite high. I heard it from a friend. I have no idea where it comes from. A bald-faced lie. She should just confess to being an at-channeler. Keiretsu meets my grin with an icy glare. It's up to you, Mayuri. Choose one. Well, she's just gonna choose the silly hat phone wave, right? Whenever the lab is divided on a name, the right to decide belongs to Mayuri. As it should, because she's the best.
I think Time Leap Machine is fine. Silly Hat Phone Wave Chan is super close, though.
Somehow I knew she'd say that.
Like I said, simple is best. Mayuri gets it.
I want to object, but it's an unwritten rule not to complain once Mayuri's made a decision. Very well. Time Leap Machine it is. Assistant! Explain for us all how the Time Leap Machine works. I know the basics, but I want to hear details. Keiretsu nods and stands in front of the whiteboard.
In short, this device converts memories to data and sends them to the past. Let's begin with what we all know. By freak coincidence, the phone wave is able to produce ring singularities, much like John Titter's time machine. Through the ring singularity, we are able to send up to 36 bytes of data to the past. The signal can only be received by phones. While that does limit the range of effect, it also removes an element of uncertainty from the equation. Unlike D-mails, memory data is sent in the form of a phone call, so we will be using a phone number, not an email address to set the destination. The ring singularity is made naked and stable by a device known as a lifter. In our case, that's the 42-inch CRT downstairs. She's explained the basics. Next, she'll explain the modifications she's made to turn the phone wave name subject to change into a time leap machine. The phone wave now has headgear attached.
Look at the little pictures. What the heck?
This headgear records the nerve impulses in the temporal lobe of the brain, specifically the CA3 region of the hippocampus, where memories are stored. Then, using VR technology, we encode the nerve impulses into electrical signal data.
It comes out to approximately 3.24 terabytes. 3.24 terabytes? That's less than I expected. We're talking about the entirety of a person's memories. Terabytes is still, yeah, that's definitely maybe like less in the grand scheme of things, but terabytes, that's still a lot of terabytes. How are you going to turn that into like 36 bytes though? I mean, my computer, the one I'm using currently right now, has, I think, a total of 4 terabytes of hard drive space altogether, with all the different hard drives that I have in there. So basically you're saying that my computer holds as much memory as my brain does currently. Unless this is a different type of terabyte, but I think it's the same, right? It should be. Huh. I don't know.
By the way, we'll set it up so that the data decodes automatically after a certain amount of time. Anybody well-versed in programming can do this. I had Hashida make the code. Anyway, next we send the memory data through the net to the LHC in France. This building has a direct line to CERN for some reason, so we can transfer data at insanely high speeds. How long does it take to send 3.24 terabytes of data? We have 64 direct lines in parallel,
So if we send it in 64 parts, it should upload in about 45 seconds. Oh, that's right. So we're sending it to the Hadron Collider to compress it. I forgot that was something we had to do. So we're taking the 3 terabytes, compressing that down into 36 bytes. That's crazy, though. That's pretty fast.
Next, we hijack the LHC, create a mini black hole, and use that black hole's supergravity to compress the data into 36 bytes.
3 terabytes is about 3 trillion bytes. Compressing that into just 36 bytes? That's one heck of a squeeze. Yeah, and like, what if it doesn't all fit? Like, what if you lose some of the memories? That'd kind of suck. Will the compression take long? It's practically instantaneous. 23 milliseconds or thereabouts. We're using a black hole after all.
By the way, the compression only holds in the immediate vicinity of the black hole. Once the data leaves that area, it will begin to decompress on its own. This too takes 23 milliseconds.
It has to make it back to the X68000 and into the phone wave without that, or within that window. It's only 36 bytes. Shouldn't be a problem. Continue, Christina.
While the data is being compressed, we use the phone wave to generate a Kerr-ring singularity. When the electron discharge phenomenon occurs, we take the 36-byte data, patch it in, and send it to the past.
Basically like D-mail. Interesting. So how do you get it into somebody's brain? Do they have to like put the phone to their head? Because we're talking about like, I mean, this could be someone in the, I don't know, 90s with a old cell phone, you know? Like, do they have to put it to their ear and then it'll just like all of a sudden like blast all this information into their brain through like electrical impulses or something? I don't know. I don't know how that would work. How would you do that?
This part is just like a D-mail. The data travels to the specified time, where it arrives at the recipient's phone. By now, 23 milliseconds should have passed, so the data will be fully decompressed. Next, the decoding program runs, converting the data back into nerve impulse signals.
Oh, so they have a program that turns it into nerve impulse signals. Okay. But that works. So that works all in this like 23 millisecond time frame? Is that what you're saying? Or like, because the black hole would have to stay open long enough for our program in the present to actually decode and input those nerve impulses in the past, right? I mean, isn't that how that would work? This is crazy.
These signals are discharged from the phone's earpiece at approximately 0.02 amperes,
something like that.
A pretty weak charge. If the recipient has the phone to his ear, they should go straight into his brain.
Oh, so they are. Yep. So they're just trying to say that the impulses will just go straight to the brain. Interesting. Assuming he answers his phone.
If he doesn't, the transfer fails. Fortunately, we lose nothing but that copy of the memory data.
Why a phone call instead of an email?
Because we need the recipient to put the phone to his ear. Otherwise, the signals won't reach his temporal lobe.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah, that's kind of cool, though.
She indicates the side of her head. In this area, you have the frontal lobe and the temporal lobe of the brain. As I explained before, the hippocampus, where memories are stored, is inside the temporal lobe. The phone sends out electrical impulses that pass through the temporal lobe and into the hippocampus, overwriting the recipient's memories. What if it, like, fries their brain, though? That's scary. I don't know, dude. I don't know how I feel about this. At the same time, the phone sends impulses that stimulate the frontal lobe as well. This is important. Remember that the frontal lobe is responsible for sending retrieval signals to the temporal lobe. This is how you remember things. By stimulating the frontal lobe, we force it to send retrieval signals keyed to the new memory data. Thus, the recipient recalls all of the memories as if they were his own. Which, of course, they are, or will be in the future. This happens in less than a second. Now that the recipient has the same memories as the sender, the time leap is complete. If the data came from 1 week in the future, the recipient will remember that week as if he experienced it firsthand. We need to be aware that consciousness and personality aren't transferred. Both of those depend on the recipient.
Explain it with boobs.
Dude, why? Boobs?
Kiritsu dissolves into a blushing, stammering mess. Looks like it's up to me to answer Daru's question. She never, like, had this issue before. It's like she's different in this world line a little bit. She gets, like, more embarrassed. She used to just be like, no. Not with boobs, obviously. Let's say we send your memories to you in grade school. Right now, you're some kind of omnisexual pervert who thinks inanimate objects are hot. But in elementary school, you were still an innocent child. I was a boring little jerk who did nothing but study. What of it? Basically, that little jerk would suddenly have all your perverted memories, but his personality wouldn't change. It's not like you'll become that famous anime detective with the looks of a child and the brains of an adult. What? That sucks. This isn't like the time leaping you see in sci-fi novels. We aren't yet capable of transferring personality and consciousness.
Since you need a phone to receive the signal, you can only send memories to the times you had one. We also need to make sure that the sender and recipient are the same person. If someone besides your past self, your parents or a friend, for instance, answers the phone, then the nerve impulse signals will be projected into their brain instead. If that happens, your memories could overwrite theirs, which could obviously cause serious damage to their psyche.
Yeah, good point. What the heck? How are you going to know when somebody had their phone on them at the particular moment? Like, what? That's real sketch. That's taking a big risk, yo.
Kiritsu ends her explanation and takes a short breath. The lab falls into silence. I exchange glances with Kiritsu and Daru. I look at Meiri, but her expression is blank. I guess it was too complicated for her. So, I clear my throat. It's time for the million-dollar question.
What do we do with it? Do with what?
The time leap machine, of course. What do we do with it? For once, my assistant has nothing to say. I already know that she fears we've created a monster. Honestly, I feel the same way. After a few moments, Kiritsu finally speaks. It's too much for us to handle, that's for sure. The safest thing would be to hand it over to the government for professional research. Nope. Nope, you never give it to the government. Nope, don't ever give power to the government. That's bad. Nope. Nope, you're wrong this time, Kuretsu. I can tell that she's not pleased to have reached this conclusion. She obviously would prefer to experiment with this technology. After all, it's humanity's first time machine. We've finally taken our first steps towards godhood. Like, okay, what if we're CERN? I just thought about that. What if we are actually CERN who created that time machine? Oh, well, no, we couldn't be because CERN exists right now. Never mind. I thought CERN existed in the future, but they actually exist right now, so never mind. Completely throw that out. I'm sure that the nations of the world would pay billions for just one look at our machine. The possibilities that it represents are limitless. It just doesn't feel real.
Mayushi doesn't get it.
That's because you didn't work on it, Mayushi.
Oh, right.
What about you, Okabe? And I mean you, not Halloween Kyoma. I agree with Kuretsu that the time leap machine is dangerous. On the other hand, I want to experiment. I state my honest feelings. Kuretsu gasps. But there are still questions we need to answer. This is unknown territory, not just for us, but for all of humanity. Who will time leap? I look to each of the lab MEMs in turn. Daru quickly looks away. Mayuri's expression is blank. Kuretsu stares right back at me. It's hard to choose. I'll pass. Not a single person here wants the honor of being history's first time traveler. Yeah, because you don't know what it'll do. Who would? Like, what if you... Oh, man, it could just go so poorly, dude. There's so many things that can go wrong with this. Some that I'm probably not even thinking of. But even the ones that I am thinking of, like your memories going into somebody else's head and killing them or something, like, or making them insane, or even making yourself insane? Yikes. I don't know about all that. Everyone, except for Mayuri, is probably thinking about what could go wrong. What if the time leap were to fail? Well, I mean, I don't think a Jellyman would happen. There's no physical component going on, right? So that part's safe, at least. It's not like CERN's time machine. The possibility of becoming a Jellyman is 0. Yeah, exactly. This machine sends data, not the real thing. Don't let your preconceptions influence your decision. You might say it's like a cut and paste of your brain. Actually, it's more like a copy-paste, and it's just your memories. The original doesn't get erased. That's a very easy to understand example. But that's not the problem. Time flows in a straight line from past to present to future. At least that's how most humans see it. This raises several questions. No, because, like, even Farah said, like, what if it doesn't flow like a river, you know? Like, what if it only is affected by the observer, right? The observer is the only one that can actually tell time, which would make it not a river, but, like, an ocean almost or something, right? Like, because it's only dependent upon the recipient, or the observer, excuse me. Anyway, what if there's an error somewhere, and the data itself gets fractionalized?
let's say I send my memories an hour into the past. My memories would be replaced by fractalized data. In other words, data full of tiny holes. Couldn't that cause memory loss? Good point.
I suppose.
1 hour later, we arrive once again at the present. At that time, the me who lost his memories an hour ago and the current me conflict in my brain. Which data set survives? Oh, interesting. I didn't think of it that way, but I feel like you would just be overwriting the memory with the next hour that would be going by, right? So, like, whatever you were missing, you would just fill in the gaps as that hour progressed, right? I mean, isn't that how that would work? You would just be kind of like overwriting as you're experiencing. I mean, that's what would make sense to me, but I don't know.
Logically, the present should change as soon as you send your memories to the past.
The conflicting current me disappears then. So then it's not a copy-paste at all, is it?
I don't know. No one's ever experienced time travel before.
When we send a D-mail, the world is reconstructed based on the change we made to the past. I'm the only one who's aware of this, however.
We don't know what happens when you time leap. If it's the many worlds interpretation like Titter said, then the instant you time leap, it creates two possibilities. One where you shift to another world line, and one where you travel back in time on the same world line. Of course, there must also be a world line where the current you doesn't disappear. That would likely correspond to the present that we are experiencing right now.
Right?
But
that's only if the many worlds interpretation holds in the first place. I thought you didn't believe what Titter had to say.
I'm talking hypothetically. Titter doesn't matter right now. If it's the Copenhagen interpretation, then every possible state propagates through space as a wave function. When a particular state is observed, the remaining states collapse and that state is fixed.
But precise observation is impossible. The problem is who the observer is in this case. So, us. Wouldn't it be a third party? Like me or Mayushi? Not necessarily. It might be me. It might be someone else. It could even be God. To begin with, the Copenhagen interpretation and the many worlds interpretation are both microscale theories used to explain quantum interactions. No one knows whether they can be applied to humans or to the world at large. What about my personal experiences with reading Steiner? If reading Steiner is the sort of power I think it is, then the world line model is correct. In the end, we arrive at the question of where is the self?
This time leap machine only sends memories. That I guarantee.
Won't the present be reconstructed at the moment of transfer? I mean, that would make sense. That's what happens with Okarin's reading Steiner, right?
That makes sense where D-mails are concerned.
When we send a D-mail, we're obviously interfering in past events. But time leaping is different. All you do is send your memories to the past, which isn't the same thing as sending a targeted D-mail. Whether the me who suddenly remembers 1 hour into the future will, in fact, change the past is something we can't know until it happens. So I think at this point, it would be best if we're going to experiment at all, which is still really scary, but if we were going to do it at all, we need to do it on someone that isn't us because we're the only ones that can be the observer. That's what we've known to be true so far. So we'll know if somebody's completely different or screwed up or something happens or whatever. Right? Like, that just makes sense. I'm getting confused. It sounds like we're talking about the soul. Isn't that a religious question? Well, I mean, the soul is technically, so in technical terms, you have a soul and you have a spirit. So your soul is your mind, will, and emotions. Your spirit is like the essence of who you are. It's the immortal part of you that lives on into eternity. So if you are talking about the soul, you're talking about your mind, will, and emotions, in which case, yes, kind of. That's pretty much what we're talking about. If you're talking about your immortal self, maybe also kind of, yeah, like, I don't know. I think we're talking more about just the person's mind with the personality, the conscious, and all that, which, or consciousness, excuse me, in which case that would be the soul. So technically, it's not the soul. People use soul and spirit like interchangeably, but technically the soul in this case is correct because they're talking about like basically the mind and consciousness of a person, where the spirit is just that immortal being part of you that goes on. It's a little complicated, but hopefully that kind of made sense. So I think we're talking about the soul here. Yeah?
Wait, you guys are misunderstanding something. 1 hour isn't enough time for your personality to change. You should be the same person 1 hour ago that you are now. The only difference is that you'll have an extra hour's worth of memories.
Right, and that would be like the best way to check because you would screw up the least amount of your brain, right?
How can you be sure? Well, I can't. Nobody's tried it before.
This discussion's going nowhere. Exactly, yeah. Personality and consciousness can't be strictly defined, so it's hard to imagine what might happen.
So, which is it? We don't know. We can argue the theories all we want, but in the end, we can only guess. This experiment may end up shattering preconceptions scientists and philosophers have held for centuries.
We won't know until we try. That pretty much sums it up. To make matters worse, the subject must be prepared to risk damage to their psyche. Kiritsu, Daru, and I say no more. We can't solve this problem. This is our limit as scientists. But haven't we accomplished enough already? The time leap machine itself is worthy of a Nobel Prize. We could sell this technology for billions if we so chose. And if we go public with the time leap machine, we can break CERN's monopoly on time travel technology. That's enough. It has to be. But of course he's going to say, no, it's never going to be enough. And now we have a theme, a message on, sticking your nose where you shouldn't, playing God, and going past your bounds even maybe when you shouldn't, not being content, all that crap. You got so many things going on right now. It's pretty interesting.
Hey!
Mayuri, who has been observing the discussion with glassy eyes, opens her mouth to speak.
I have an idea. Why don't we make a banana time leap instead?
Because it doesn't have memories, what?
Oh, Mayuri. Bananas don't have brains like people do. Oh, you need a brain, huh?
So precious. Mayuri never changes. Dude, don't. The atmosphere in the room gets a little more relaxed. Let's not experiment.
We'll entrust the time leap machine to a suitable research institution. Then we'll announce it to the world.
Dude, no, what are you doing?
Thanks to the lightening of the mood, I can finally say what was on my mind. Neither Kiritsu nor Daru objects.